You guys, I know you guys have been wondering, like, where has this girl been? She just told us about the whole teaching assistant thing, and then boom, she disappeared. Calm down. Yeah, should be calming down. I know you guys have been anticipating this video, but yeah, here it is. A lot has just been happening. UK is just UK. That's why I did not like, I was not so quick to post the second part of this video. Anyways, if you're coming to the UK in September and you have your eyes on a teaching assistant job, you are in luck. You are really lucky, because whenever school resumes like this, there's always like high demand for teaching assistants. There's always high demand for cover supervisor. So the demand is quite high. So if you come and you're able to do your registration as fast as possible, trust me, you'll be getting regular shifts, at least from now till when school wants to close and all of that. Anyways, without beating so much about the bush, without talking plenty, let's go straight to how you can get a teaching assistant job. So let me just take you through the process, and of course tell you about the reference stuff I was talking about in my last video. So a couple of things changed. I made some clarifications, and I had asked, how do you want to do you want me to send your details to them, or do you want me to like call? Well, towards the end of this video, I'll tell you how that's going to work, and we'll get done with that immediately. So what is the first thing to do if you want a teaching assistant job in the UK? So of course, the first port of call is your CV, because it is your CV that tells them, oh, if you are experienced enough for this thing. So what do you do? Basically, you just need to format your CV. You just need to write your teaching CV. So in all of your experiences on that CV has to do with teaching, has to be related to teaching, both formal, both informal. But basically, you just have to format it in a way that it has to do with teaching. And just know your teaching experiences. You have to make sure that you cover your study gaps. Like, these guys are really crazy about study gaps, because in their mind, if you say you've not worked for 2 years or 1 year, 6 months, especially if it's more than 6 months, they start to wonder, where have you been? Were you arrested? Were you in prison? Where have you been within the 6 months? Why were you not working? Why were you not in current employment? Okay, so if you're doing a CV for a teaching assistant job, except you have justification for that study gap, close all your study gaps. Okay, so if you stopped work, if you stopped teaching, let's say between 2021 and 2022, what were you doing within that period? Okay, so it may be something else you can add. That's the only time you can add another experience that is not teaching, in between. But basically, don't have any study gap, because if you have any study gap, you must prove what you were doing within that period. And of course, it has to be like a document that proves, maybe if you were sick, you have to get a doctor's report. If you were working somewhere else, you have to get an employment letter from that place, basically. So, but just to cut all of those long process and all of that, close all your study gaps. Your CV should not have any study, even if there must be study gap 2 months, 3 months. So if they ask you, why were you not working in 3 months, you said, oh, you lost your job and you were just resting, or you basically just have an excuse. But if it's more than 6 months, they need proof. Okay, so your CV. And a lot of people have been asking me, what template. Maybe I should do another video on basically what I think I know about writing your CV. But I don't think, I've always told anybody that asks me, there are no hard and fast rules to writing your CV. I've used different formats of CVs, like, since I came to the UK, and I always get responses. Okay, so, but basically, I would show you the particular template. I think I would put that on the screen. The particular template I use for my teaching CV, I got it from Google Docs. So when you go to Google Docs, they have like different CV formats. So I just picked a random one, and that's what I used to edit my CV. So like I said, I will include it on the screen so that you know the exact one I use. But like I said, there's no hard and fast rule. Use anyone. The most important thing is that you have the details. For instance, your name, your email address, your phone number, your experiences. If you have any leadership skills, included. Of course, your address, because they need to know where you live. Your address determines like the type of schools they post you to. So for instance, they most likely like to target schools that are closer to you, so that you don't have to travel far or go late to school and all of that. So your address is important, your phone number, your email, your experiences, and of course a profile summary. Just do, basically, it's not much, just the most important thing is to include your teaching experiences and some of the things you did while teaching. For instance, if you say you're an English teacher, what did you do as an English teacher? Did you manage the classroom? Did you prepare curriculum? Did you prepare their lesson plans? All of those things, basically. So it's quite simple. So after that, what is the next thing to do? So once you have prepared your CV and it is ready, you now search for teaching agencies in your city. So Usually every city has teaching agencies, like, because those agencies cater to the schools in those cities. So if you're in Liverpool, for instance, you could just type on Google teaching agencies in Liverpool. You will see a rundown or a list, and if you want to go a bit further, you can read reviews on those agencies. So most of these agencies usually would ask supply teachers to leave reviews for them on their site or on Google, of course. So when you go through those reviews, you can know, okay, is this agency worth it, is it not worth it, you get. So Google gives you a rundown or a list of agencies in those cities. All you need to do is to go to the website of these agencies. When you go to the website, usually the contact address of any website is usually at the bottom. Okay, usually at the bottom. So go to the bottom of these sites, of these teaching agencies. You see their contact address. They always have a phone number and they always have an email address. So usually I would advise that you just go to send them an email straight instead of calling, because when you call, well, you can't do anyone. It's just me saying, okay. So when you go to their email, send them a brief cover letter, like, you know how you type in your email, like, hi, I am this, I'm a teacher with 4 years experience. I thought they just briefly 4, 5, 6 sentences is okay. And then in that email, you could now attach your CV. So attached to this email is a copy of my CV that shows, you know, my full experience, everything in details and all of that. Thank you. So usually when they go through that email and they go through your CV and they see that, oh yeah, this CV hits the nail on the head, okay, they'll contact you immediately. Like I said, it's September and a lot of schools are looking to get lots of supply teachers, looking for cover supervisors, looking for teaching assistants. So the earlier you register, the better for you. And of course, if you're not in the UK yet, I'd advise you to just hold on with sending email, because once you send email, they may want to start the onboarding process immediately. And of course, you don't have a permanent address yet, you don't have a UK phone number, so that might stall the process. So when you come and you have like those important things, you can now start. So your DBS and the NIN and whatever, those ones can still be processing while you're doing, you know, other things. Okay, so that's basically it. Contact them and try to do a follow-up, because most times they have a lot of emails like that and they may not be able to follow up. If after 5 days, there's this new feature Gmail has, that if after five days the person you sent an email to has not responded, they will now send you a notification. Do you want to do a follow-up? Try to do a follow-up. Don't just assume that, oh, they read it. So if they read it and maybe your CV is not up to par, normally they're supposed to respond, oh, we are sorry, but at this point you should not have your CV not up to par. I mean, include all of your experience, make it rich enough for them to be convinced to call you back. But like I said, always do a follow-up. If you send them an email and after 5 days they've not responded, luckily Gmail will even send you a notification to tell you that, oh, this person has not responded, do you want to do a follow-up? So even if you don't get that notification from Gmail, try to follow up just to be sure that, oh, this CV, they've received it, or whether or not they have not received it. Okay, now I wanted to talk about like the interview process briefly, or interview questions, but to be honest, I have forgotten most of the questions they asked me during like all of the interviews I did with these agencies. But then one thing that sticks to me is they always ask, they always paint a scenario. What if a child is disrupting your class? How would you handle it? Those kind of things. It's just for you to think like you have knowledge, like wisdom. Yeah, apply wisdom, because Nigerian process is way different from the UK. You cannot say, I go flog him, I go tawash him. You cannot tawash any child here. Okay, so you just have to, of course, smile, be confident, because it's usually a video call like on Microsoft Teams. Be confident, because of course teachers have to be confident. If you're not confident, students will intimidate you. Okay, so during your interview, be fluent, be confident, tweak your accent. Yeah, I'm not saying you should go and be forming Igbo British accent, but tweak it to the point that they can understand you. Okay, because if they cannot understand you, they assume that your students too would not understand you. So just smile, be confident. Even if you don't have answers to questions, don't leave questions hanging. Just, you know, they understand that you're coming from a different country with a different process, so they don't expect perfect answers to all their questions, especially with classroom management. But then use wisdom. Just know that they don't flog children. You can't yell at children, you can't be harsh, you can't be brutal. So if they ask you how you handle a student who is, you just say, oh, you're going to call it's not the DSL, there's another people like the disciplinary committee or something to handle the child. You will speak to the child, you would basically just, you know. So the interview is usually not hard. I think like 30 minutes. You just, like I said, that's why I said you should not do this interview in Nigeria before MTN will show you Pepe. Just wait till you come where you don't have any internet issues, because trust MTN to mess up. Like, So, and you can't lie that, oh, I'm in the UK when you're in Nigeria, you get. So when you come, you do your interview here, I do everything. Like I said, I've talked about DBS, police council, all of those documents. So if you start working on these documents, immediately you come. Rest assured, within 2 weeks, you've rounded up the onboarding process, because this onboarding process, I won't even lie, sometimes it is long, but it's worth it in the end anyways. So it is long, especially for the first agency. But once you are finished with the first agency, you already have all the documents, so you can use that energy to register for the second, third, and fourth. Like I said, register for more than one agency, because sometimes an agency may be stuck and may not give you as much shift. You collect shift from here, collect shift from there, you get to make it up your 20 hours or okay. When you pass this interview, that is when your documentation in real life, in earnest, starts. That's when they ask you to submit this, that. Okay, so now we are done with the interview process. Let me talk about the two agencies I was going to refer y'all to. Okay, so the first agency is Engage Education. Now, initially, a friend of mine just recently arrived Leeds, and I sent his details to Engage, to the consultant specifically, and then she's like, oh, you can tell him to send his details to me instead. So instead of her contacting him, I asked him to send his cover letter and his CV to her, and she responded like almost immediately, and they started the whole documentation and onboarding process. So for Engage wants me to tell you all to apply to them. So I'm not going to take your emails for Engage, okay? So the only thing I'll do for these two agencies is that if you're coming to Leeds, I'll do that for only people in Leeds. If you're coming to Leeds, specifically if you're coming to Leeds, you can send me an email at udochi@chuks. I think I'll include it at udochi@chuks, and I'll give you their email addresses for the consultants, not like the general email. I'll give you the email address for this consultant, so you can send your cover letter and your CV directly to them. Now these guys are the ones handling Leeds, like recruitment in Leeds. So because I can't do for especially for the second agency I'm about to call, I can't do for everybody, because I don't know how far this video will go, and then of course these people are in different cities. So if I say okay, everybody said, it will be too much, so let's do just for Leeds. But for the others, you can contact them directly. Now let me make it clearer, okay? So if you are applying to Engage, these are the cities that Engage covers: Leeds, London, Brighton, and Watford. Leeds, London, Watford, and Brighton. These 4 cities, Engage Education covers them. So what do? Go to type Engage Education on Google, go to their website, go to their contact. Now when you go to their website, you scroll down to contact. Luckily enough, all of these 4 cities have different phone numbers you can contact, different ways you can contact them. So their addresses are different. On the website, you just see contact Watford, contact by. So choose, depending on the city you are, click on it. I think there's no email address on the, you just see a phone number. So if you call the phone number, they'll give you an email address where you can send your cover letter and your CV to. And Engage also has a general email address on that website where you can do, so you can do any of them. You can either call the numbers for each of these cities, for each of the city where you're going to, or you just look for their email address, send them your cover letter like the way I told you, and then your CV. So they will now get back to you, and of course include the city where you are, so that the person in charge of that particular city will just reach out to you directly. And now that is for Engage. The second agency I want to talk to you about is Milk Education. Well, newsflash, bonus point, Milk Education pays well. It's one of the agencies that pays really well compared to, maybe a couple of others. But yeah, there's another agency I'm currently onboarding with, and they told me, I don't know if it's all hype, they just told me, oh, we pay better. If I start with them and they pay better, of course I'll come here and share and give you guys, so that you guys rush and register with them, because the amount they are telling me is high. It's high. So of course I don't want to believe them yet until I've received my pay slip, okay, and the money is in my account, okay. So for Milk Education, if you're in the following cities, then you can apply. Let me just check my records again so that I'll not mistake it. Liverpool, Sheffield, Manchester, Newcastle, Chester, Hull, London, and of course Leeds. Like with Engage, you can go to Milk Education website, look for they also have sections. If you want to apply in Manchester, there's a different phone number, there's an email, yes. So if you want to apply for the one in Hull, there's a different phone number there. So it makes it easier, it cuts the process, so you're not applying directly like the general email you get. So there's a different phone number. I think the email is actually the same, but there's a different phone number for each of these cities. Contact the phone numbers. You can call if you want, you can contact them via email, which is way better. With your CV, of course, include the city you are applying from. Yeah, of course. So I make it easier. They also have a section on their website where that says work with milk, so that one is also easy because you just include your name, your phone number, your email address, and then the type of job you want to. Are you a teaching assistant? Are you just include it there? So when you send it to them, they would now contact you for you to send your email or to send your details like your CV and all of that. Whichever one works for you is fine. So like with Engage, if you're coming to Leeds too, I could give you the specific consultant's email address. So that's like it's not his personal, it's his official email address. So if you send me an email and you are coming to Leeds, of course you show me proof for that you are coming. The reason I don't want to like put it out there, so that because of this whole data privacy issue, so that somebody would not say, oh, you put out my email address there and I'm getting thousands of emails you get. And then of course a lot of people are in Nigeria already asking me in the comment section, can I apply from Nigeria, can I work from Nigeria, those kind of questions. So if you now put out their emails, then of course I'll be getting random emails from people who say, oh, I'm in Kafanchan, can I work from Kafanchan? And it would not be funny. Okay, so if you're coming to Leeds, you're already in Leeds and you have proof that you're in Leeds, I could give you this consultant's email for you to just go ahead and send. But if not, otherwise, or if you're in any other city, it's best to just go to their email address, to their website. I think I'll include it in the description box. Hopefully I don't forget. I will include the email addresses for Engage Education and Milk Education. So do what works for you. Okay, like I said, if you send an email and they have not responded, do a follow-up, because this period is really very busy and it's possible that they might miss your email because a lot of emails keep coming in. Okay, so yeah, I want to talk about the cons of doing this teaching assistant job, but let me not discourage you yet. Maybe I'll do another video on some of the cons. But as much as this is quite exciting, something is a good career to something to start with as a newcomer, there are a bit of, anyways, we'll leave that for another day. But then I did a poll on YouTube and I asked, do you want me to go live to talk about this whole teaching assistant thing, like just everything in between, everything I know, okay, the little thing I know, do you want me to go live? And at the time of filming this video, I had like over 50 votes. I'll check again before the end. By the end of this video, I'll check how many votes so far. But I had more than 95% of people say, oh, go live to explain. And then some people say, no, don't go live. I say, top, no wahala. The more people said I should go live, so I'm gonna go live. Most likely it's going to be on a Sunday night, maybe from 8 p.m. because that's when I'm sure that I'm at home, Sunday night. So yeah, I'll let you guys know at least a week before that day. I'll just be posting consistently about it on my community so that you guys will like remember and all of that. So we just, during the live session, you can ask questions maybe about life in the UK, maybe about jobs. Some people have asked me about which job is better, teaching assistant or care work. Maybe we just have a chit chat. Okay, so if I don't have answers to your question, probably I'll do my research elsewhere or ask somebody else and then do another video, come back later to tell you. But basically, let's just have like a conversation, a one-on-one conversation, so where you can ask me questions in case I deviate, because sometimes I'm talking a lot and I deviate from the answer. You can drag me back. You'll drag me back and I'll answer your questions. Okay, so yeah, basically that's it for it. Okay, so yeah, I look forward to the live too, because that interaction is very important. You guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for being patient with me even though I was delaying you and all of that. And thank you also for subscribing. Thank you for commenting and engaging on my videos. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da!